Welcome to our channel, where we share inspiring human stories that uplift and motivate. Hit that subscribe button for more incredible tales that spark hope and courage. The USS Vanguard sliced through the Arctic Ocean's icy waters, 200 miles north of the Bering Strait, under a sky heavy with auroral light. The destroyer's steel hull groaned against the cold, its radar arrays sweeping the horizon for threats invisible to the naked eye. On the bridge, Commander Elena Vasquez stood rigid, her dark eyes fixed on the tactical display. At 34, she was one of the youngest executive officers in the Pacific Fleet. Her rapid rise fueled by a relentless intellect and a knack for cyber warfare that had earned her 3 commendations. Her uniform was crisp, but her posture betrayed the weight of something unspoken. Captain Daniel Holt, a 28-year veteran with a weathered face and a reputation for ruthless efficiency, entered the bridge. His presence silenced the low hum of conversation among the watch team. "Commander Vasquez," he said, his voice sharp as the Arctic wind, "report to the secure briefing room, now." Elena followed him through the ship's narrow passageways, her boots echoing on the steel deck. The crew avoided her gaze, their usual camaraderie replaced by a tense silence. She'd felt it building for days, whispers, sidelong glances, an undercurrent of suspicion she couldn't place. The secure briefing room, a soundproof chamber lined with counter-surveillance equipment, was already occupied. Lieutenant Commander Aaron Kim, the ship's intelligence officer, stood by a terminal, his face pale. Chief Petty Officer Maya Torres, a signals specialist with 20 years of service, sat at the table, her hands folded tightly. "Sit," Holt commanded. Elena complied, her mind racing. The captain activated the terminal, and a screen flared to life, displaying a cascade of data, encrypted communications logs, IP addresses, and transaction records. "This," Holt said, pointing at the screen, "is evidence of a cyber breach originating from this ship. Classified satellite positioning data leaked to a foreign server. Traced directly to your terminal, Commander." Elena's breath caught, but her face remained a mask of control. "Sir, I request permission to review the evidence in detail." "Denied," Holt snapped. "The data is classified beyond your current clearance, given the circumstances." "You're accused of espionage, Vasquez." "Effective immediately. You're relieved of duty." He stepped forward, his fingers ripping the silver oak leaves from her collar with a force that felt personal. The insignia clattered to the table. "You'll be confined to quarters pending transfer to Nome for investigation." The room seemed to shrink, the air thick with accusation. Kim avoided her eyes, but Torres's gaze lingered, a flicker of doubt in her expression. Elena stood, saluted with precision, and walked out, her steps measured despite the storm inside her. The crew lined the passageways, their silence louder than any words. Ensign Liam Carter, a young officer she'd mentored, hesitated before offering a salute, a small defiant gesture that broke protocol but carried weight. Others followed: Petty Officer Jamal Reed, Lieutenant Sarah Nguyen. Not everyone, but enough to send a message. Master Chief Elena Rojas, the ship's senior enlisted advisor, met her eyes as she passed, her salute crisp and deliberate. In her quarters, a cramped space with a single bunk and a bolted-down desk. Elena sat staring at the bare spots on her collar. The ship's hum vibrated through the walls, a reminder of her isolation. She opened a notebook and began writing. Not a defense, but a technical analysis of every cyber operation she'd overseen in the past 6 months. If she was being framed, the truth lay in the data. Meanwhile, in the Combat Information Center, CIC, Lieutenant Commander Kim sat at his station, his fingers trembling as he reviewed the breach logs. The evidence was damning. Timestamps aligned with Elena's shifts, data packets routed through her terminal, and financial records showing payments to an offshore account in her name. But something gnawed at him. The encryption protocols used in the alleged transmissions were outdated, replaced fleet-wide 3 months ago after Elena herself had identified vulnerabilities during a drill. Why would someone with her expertise use obsolete security measures? Chief Torres, working in the signals room, noticed a similar anomaly. The power consumption logs for Elena's terminal showed no spikes during the alleged transmissions, a discrepancy that couldn't be faked without altering redundant systems. She copied the data to a secure drive, labeling it as routine maintenance, and slipped it to Kim with a whispered, "Look at this, sir. Something's off." Back on the bridge, Captain Holt received a secure transmission from Naval Intelligence. The message was brief. Proceed with Vasquez's transfer. Monitor all communications. Expect further instructions. Holt's jaw tightened. The orders came from high up, carrying the weight of Pentagon authority. He'd acted decisively, as expected of a captain on the fast track to admiral. But the speed of the accusation, the lack of procedural transparency, stirred unease he pushed aside. 6 hours later, alarms shattered the ship's routine. The CIC's screens flashed red, warning of an unidentified cyber intrusion targeting the ship's navigation systems. Lieutenant Nguyen on watch called out, "Captain to CIC! We're losing GPS lock and the system's rejecting our authentication codes." Holt arrived, his face grim. "Report!" Nguyen's voice was tight. "Sir, someone's attempting to override our navigation protocols. The intrusion matches the signature of the breach attributed to Commander Vasquez, but it's happening now, and she's confined." Kim, already at his station, pulled up the intrusion data. "Sir, the attack's coming from an external satellite feed, same frequency as the alleged leaks. But the terminal logs show no activity from Vasquez's station since her confinement." Holt's eyes narrowed. "Verify that, and get me Pacific Command on a secure line." As the crew scrambled, a new transmission appeared on the CIC's main screen, text only, on a military frequency. USS Vanguard, stand by for priority override. Authentication requires Commander Elena Vasquez. Maintain position. The authentication codes were legitimate, verified through strategic command. Holt's face paled. "Get Vasquez to the CIC now." Elena arrived under guard, her expression unreadable. The room fell silent as she approached the terminal, her fingers moving with practiced speed. "The intrusion's using a backdoor in the satellite uplink," she said, her voice calm. "It's mimicking my credentials, but the handshake protocol is wrong. I updated those protocols 3 months ago. Whoever's doing this didn't account for the change." Holt stared at her. "Can you stop it?" "Yes, sir, but I need full system access." "Do it." As Elena worked, Kim and Torres exchanged glances. The pieces were falling into place, a sophisticated frame job, designed to discredit Elena while concealing a larger cyber operation. The question was who and why. In the CIC, Elena's hands flew across the keyboard, isolating the intrusion source. The screen showed a satellite feed rerouting navigation data to an unknown server, threatening to misdirect the Vanguard into Russian waters, a provocation that could spark an international incident. "Got it," she said, her voice steady. "The backdoors in the satellite firmware, embedded during a recent update from Orion Systems, our primary contractor." Captain Holt leaned over her shoulder. "Orion's been vetted at the highest levels. Their CEO, Victor Lang, sits on the Defense Advisory Board." "Vetted or not, their update package has a hidden subroutine," Elena replied, pulling up code on the screen. "It allows remote access to our navigation and radar systems. I can block it, but we need to trace the command origin." Lieutenant Commander Kim spoke up. "Sir, I've cross-referenced the intrusion logs with Chief Torres's power consumption data. The alleged leaks attributed to Commander Vasquez don't match our system records. Her terminal was offline during 3 of the 5 transmission times." Holt's face tightened. "You're saying the evidence against her was fabricated?" "Planted," Torres confirmed. "Someone inserted those logs into our system through a maintenance protocol, routed from a commercial server in Seattle, not Navy Cyber Command." Before Holt could respond, a secure line crackled to life. Rear Admiral Karen Ellison's voice filled the room. "Captain Holt, this is Pacific Command. Commander Vasquez is part of a classified operation to expose a cyber-sabotage network within defense contracting. Her apparent relief was a cover to draw out the perpetrators. We're sending a team via helo. Maintain position and secure all systems." Elena's eyes met Holt's, a flicker of vindication passing through her. "Permission to continue tracing the intrusion, sir?" "Granted," Holt said, his voice hollow. As Elena worked, a helicopter landed on the Vanguard's deck, carrying Colonel Rachel Park, an Army cyber operations specialist, and 2 NCIS agents. Park strode into the CIC, her presence commanding. "Commander Vasquez, you've stirred a hornet's nest. Orion Systems has been embedding backdoors in Navy systems for months, selling access to hostile actors. Your investigation got too close, so they framed you. Who authorized my relief?" Elena asked, not pausing her work. Park glanced at Holt. The order came through a compromised channel in naval intelligence, traced to a liaison officer, Commander Neil Baxter. He's been working with Orion to protect their operation. Holt's face flushed with anger and shame. I acted on what I thought was verified intelligence. You were meant to, Park said. They counted on your ambition, Captain. A quick public removal of Vasquez would discredit her findings and buy them time. Elena isolated the intrusion's command path, her screen showing a satellite link to a server in Seattle. I've got the source. It's Orion's diagnostic hub. They're using it to send override commands. If I send a counter signal, I can lock them out and preserve evidence. Do it, Park ordered. The counter signal deployed, and the navigation system stabilized. Elena leaned back, exhaustion creeping in. It's done. The back door's closed, and I've captured their command logs for analysis. Park turned to Holt. Captain, we need a secure workspace for Vasquez and my team. This ship's systems are clean now, but we're not done. Orion's network is still active, and we need to move before they realize they've been exposed. Holt nodded, his authority diminished but intact. Commander Vasquez, you have full access to the technical bay. Whatever you need, it's yours. The crew, unaware of the full scope, sensed the shift. Rumors spread through the mess halls and berthing areas, fueled by the helicopter's arrival and Elena's return. Ensign Carter, in the crew lounge, spoke quietly to his peers. She never stopped fighting for us, even after what they did to her. In the technical bay, Elena worked alongside Park's team, analyzing the captured logs. The evidence was damning. Orion had sold backdoor access to 3 foreign entities, each paying millions for real-time control of Navy navigation systems. The implications were catastrophic. Entire fleets could be misdirected or blinded during conflict. Chief Torres joined them, bringing additional data. Commander, I found something else. The power logs show Orion's updates were tested during joint exercises with Japan last month. They were practicing remote overrides under real conditions. That's why they moved against me, Elena said, connecting the dots. I flagged those tests as anomalies and started digging. They panicked. NCIS agents coordinated arrests from the Vanguard, targeting Baxter, Lang, and several Orion executives. The operation was swift, with FBI teams moving simultaneously in Seattle and Washington. By dawn, the network was dismantled, its leaders in custody. Holt addressed the crew over the intercom. All hands, Commander Vasquez has been fully reinstated. Her actions have protected this fleet from a significant threat. I made errors in judgment, and I take full responsibility. She has my respect and gratitude. On deck, the crew saluted Elena as she emerged, the aurora casting green light across her uniform. She returned the salute, her heart heavy but resolute. The scars of betrayal lingered, but the mission had prevailed.